This chapter has one of the boringest sounding titles, which as soon as you hear this, when I hear this word, my kind of brain goes numb. Like amortization. Oh God, what do I have to talk about? It's going to be math and time and money. This is painful. So I'm going to try to make this not too painful and really brief, basically. Amortization. Let's draw some pictures just because this will make it more interesting. Here's your factory. These are smokestacks. In your factory, you're making a product. You sell that product for $100. It's your widget. All right, how much did this factory cost you to build? Let's say it cost you $1 million. That's a lot of money to sell a $100 widget. However, if this $1 million factory can make let's just say it can make 1 million widgets in a year, and each of those widgets costs you $10 to make, should you build this factory? Well, if you amortize this factory over the entire year, rather than thinking about it as a one-time cost, over that entire year, you're going to produce a lot of widgets. Or let's even think about it over a longer horizon. Let's think about for 5 years. Now you're producing 5 million widgets, and each of them costs you $10 to make. You're selling them for $100, so your profit is $90 profit per widget. It's a pretty good deal. So if you amortize that $1 million over 5 years of making $90 profit per widget, you're making $1 million. So 1 million widgets, if you sell all of them at a $90 profit each, you're making 90 million in profit per year. Now that 1 million doesn't seem so bad, especially if you spread it over the cost of 5 years. If the factory can produce widgets for 5 years before crapping out, then the cost per year is really only $200,000 per year cost. So even if you weren't making $90 million a year, even if it was much less, you would think that as long as this number is greater than the cost per year, then it's a worthwhile thing to do. So the basic idea of amortization is to spread the cost of something, some asset, a factory, or your lemonade stand, and spread it over the cost of the useful life. So in this case, we're spreading it over 5 years because this factory is going to be making widgets for 5 years. Who knows? Maybe it falls apart after 4 years, or maybe it lasts even longer. That's another key thing in the amortization section, that you're making a forecast. You're hoping that this thing is useful for an amount of time, but maybe it's not. So there's some sort of a forecasting factor here where you could be wrong. They use an example in the book of Crocs, where like the shoe company, it was really popular. They invested a lot in these factories. It could have been amortized over a number of years where they'd be useful and you'd be making a lot of profit, but then all of a sudden the shoes stopped selling. Sort of a fad, so didn't look like such a great investment because that profit that came from those investments didn't make sense. So that's amortization. Hopefully didn't bore you too much.